I recognize the honourable member for Coquitlam, Malawi.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I'm really pleased to participate in this discussion and debate of a $10 a day childcare and early learning plan that supports families and actually builds the economy. I mean, I do remember, Honourable Speaker, when I became a mom some 27 years ago, we had actually just 16 weeks of maternity, and then you were back to work. And I remember quite clearly the scramble back then for childcare. And it was a challenge, but with the help of a neighbor, a flexible work schedule, and a partner also with a flexible work schedule, we were able to juggle the childcare in a way that didn't break the bank. When my daughter came along 2 years later, Honourable Speaker, we still only had 16 weeks of maternity, and the scramble for childcare was a different beast. It was next to impossible to find full-time care for 2 children that would make it worthwhile for me to work. I worked in the nonprofit sector, and by the time I paid my taxes and my transportation costs, getting to and from work, my entire paycheck would have gone into childcare. So what would have been the point of working full-time to have no financial benefit at the end of the day? So I picked up evening and weekend work, working part-time, so that we needed less childcare. And I was fortunate, Honourable Speaker, because I had a profession that provided me with the opportunity to work opposite to my husband's schedule. And what saddens me, Honourable Speaker, is in all these years that nothing much has changed for families. While there is now parental leave that actually gives parents a meaningful opportunity to be with their children for 11 months, it is next to impossible to find suitable, affordable childcare. After housing, childcare is the second highest cost facing British Columbian families and a key contributor to our affordability crisis, certainly in the Lower Mainland. And the experts do know that this is more than just a social issue and a feel-good. They know that it's actually an economic issue. The Surrey Board of Trade and the BC Chamber of Commerce both come out in support of proper investments in childcare, asking for affordable, accessible daycare in this province, because they know that our economy depends on it. So, Honourable Speaker, what do families do? We heard the member from Vancouver Point Grey, waiting and waiting and waiting to see if their child, their unborn child, is possibly going to get childcare. Well, as the opposition spokesperson for seniors, I've been touring the province, hearing from seniors about the issues that affect them most. From all corners of the province, Honourable Speaker, I have heard from seniors who are spending their retirement years caring for their grandchildren. And let's be clear, this is not babysitting for their grandchildren. They are providing daycare for their grandchildren. There was one senior in Penticton who told me that her daughter is a single parent and her daughter needs her to care for her two grandchildren every day so that her daughter can go to work to pay the mortgage and put food on the table. The senior is starting to have some health concerns and is worried about how the deterioration in her own physical health will impact on the financial health of her daughter's family if she can't continue to provide much-needed daycare because there isn't any available for her daughter that she can afford. I have a neighbor in Coquitlam who drives out to Mission every day, every Monday, and comes home every Thursday to be with her husband because Grandma has to care for the 3 grandchildren. And when I asked her if this is what she expected her retirement to look like, she just shook her head and answered that she wouldn't mind to go and care for her grandchildren once or twice a week, but 4 days was a bit much. But what choice did she have? Here was a grandmother feeling incredible pressure to help her daughter because her daughter had no real options for care. Early this fall, I was on the doorstep talking to a constituent, and an older gentleman was trimming his hedge, and he said, when I said, what's the most pressing issue for you? He's a senior, white hair, up, trimming his hedge, and I'm thinking seniors care, health care, and he said child care, that child care was most important to him. And when I asked him why, he put down the hedge trimmer and said, I have 2 daughters, and he said, and my daughters cannot find child care. And my daughter, who's expecting her 2nd child, is terrified that it will break the bank, that she will not be able to find care. So, Honourable Speaker, this grandfather knows the importance and the value of an affordable, accessible, quality childcare for his family, and it's time for a proper system that makes a difference, a real difference, in the financial health and well-being of all British Columbians. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member.